Day one went by in ruckus. Day two witnessed disruption after disruption. And day three got adjourned after slogans, protests, placards and a suspension. The monsoon session of the Parliament is seeing nothing new. In the past too, we've seen our elected representatives indulge in unruly behaviour in the Parliament and completely disregard our concerns, for which, by the way, we have elected them. As the opposition parties disrupted parliamentary proceedings yet again over the Manipur issue, Union Home Minister Amit Shah reassured them that the government is ready to discuss Manipur on the floor of the House.
मैं सदन में चर्चा के लिए तैयार हूं। मुझे मालूम नहीं है कि विपक्ष क्यों चर्चा करने देना नहीं चाहता। मेरा विपक्ष के नेता को आग्रह है कि चर्चा होने दे और इस महत्वपूर्ण मसले पर पूरे देश के सामने सच्चाई जाए, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है।
Meanwhile, Union Minister Smriti Irani hit back at Team I.N.D.I.A and said that they are not serious about discussing the matter. Listen into what she said today.
Amit Shah ji has repeatedly said that in both houses of Parliament, he as Minister in charge of Home Affairs would like to bring certain facts to light. What is shocking is the insistence of the opposition parties to not allow facts to come to the fore.
Now, as Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh got suspended for the entire session, the opposition parties walked out of the Business Advisory Committee meeting to protest it. They are in fact sitting on a dharna tonight as we speak. Listen in to what they said.
27 लोगों ने ये नोटिस दिया था, पर ना ही उसको पढ़ा गया, ना ही उस पर कोई संज्ञान लिया गया। और जब उन्होंने संजय जी ने इसकी डिमांड की वेल ऑफ द हाउस जाके, जो कि कोई भी ऐसी प्रथा नहीं है, लोकसभा में देख लीजिए, राज्यसभा में देख लीजिए कि वेल ऑफ द हाउस आने में ही उनको सस्पेंड कर दिया गया। ये सोची समझी इनकी रणनीति थी। लीडर ऑफ द हाउस उठकर खड़े हो गए और उन्होंने सस्पेंड कर दिया। बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और प्रजातंत्र के लिए हानिकारक है। हम सब इंडिया अलायंस इसकी लड़ाई लड़ेंगे और इनको सबक सिखाएंगे।
मुझे दुख है कि संजय सिंह जी को इस तरह से सस्पेंड किया गया, जबकि उनकी मांग सिर्फ उनकी मांग नहीं थी, पूरे ऑपोजिशन की मांग थी। और ये कैसे प्रधानमंत्री है लोकतंत्र में जो लोगों की कठिनाई के बारे में आज सदन के अंदर चर्चा नहीं करना चाहते, वो किसी मंत्री को आगे करना चाहते हैं। पर ये मुद्दा इतना गंभीर है कि हम चाहते हैं प्रधानमंत्री सदन में आए और चर्चा में हिस्सा लें। और मेरा आप सबसे ये कहना है कि संजय सिंह जी को इस तरह से सस्पेंड करना सरासर नाइंसाफ़ी है। हम उनके साथ हैं और जब तक वो सस्पेंशन में रहेंगे, हम उनके पास कंधे से कंधा मिला के ये लड़ाई लड़ेंगे।
Now let me tell you why this logjam is happening in the Parliament. The government insists on a discussion under Rule 176, while the opposition is demanding it under Rule 267. Let me now explain these rules one by one to you. Rule 176, first of all, is a short duration discussion along with the other business of the House. So basically, any member who wants to raise a discussion on a matter of urgent public importance can give a notice in writing to the Secretary General in the Parliament, specifying clearly and precisely the matter that she or he wants to be raised, accompanied by reasons for doing so. Now, this notice has to be supported by the signatures of at least 2 other members. The discussion on this has to be carried out within 2.5 hours of the time. So that is what the government has been saying. What is the opposition saying? The opposition wants a discussion under Rule 267. What does it say? It says in the Lok Sabha, it allows an MP to urge the Speaker to adjourn the House business and discuss a matter of public importance. The Speaker has to then decide whether to allow this MP to move the motion. If it is allowed, it results in the dropping of the scheduled business of the day to discuss that very matter. Now, over the years, in the Rajya Sabha, MPs have used Rule 267 to suspend the question hour in the House to raise urgent matters. So that by far is what the bone of contention is, the government insisting on the discussion taking place under Rule 176, while the opposition, Team I.N.D.I.A, wants it under Rule 267, basically saying that you cancel all the scheduled business and hear this matter for urgent public importance. Now, amid all of this, let me also tell you how much all of these noisy scenes and politics over issues costs you and I. 2.5 lakh rupees per minute is what it takes to run the parliament, and that includes the salaries of MPs and their staff, apart from the upkeep of the parliament. Now, let me bring in my panelists today and ask them what is the way forward in this logjam and what happens to the important bills that have been lined up and what is the government stand on it? When will this discussion happen? I'm right now joined by Neha Joshi from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Anurag Naidu, author, also joins us. Mahima Singh from the Congress is joining us, and Parvinder Singh Sethi, political analyst, joins us right now. I'm going to first come to you, Mahima Singh. The opposition is insisting on a discussion under Rule 267 when the government is saying that we are ready to do a discussion on the Manipur issue under Rule 176. What is the problem?
जय हिंद। कल तक केवल अंधा राजा अब गूंगा बहरा भी है। होठ सी दिए हैं जनता के, कानों पर पहरा भी है। This is a state-sponsored slow genocide, Shreya, and this is the least what we can say of this. You see, it is an ethnic cleansing which has been admitted to by one of the Meitei leaders on another interview that I was going through from the last week. Hundreds of churches have been burnt down. You have children, orphaned children, gazing at the skies for help. A wife of a Kargil warrior raped, paraded naked. A widow of a former, warrior, a former army personnel, has been burnt alive. This is just the tip of the iceberg, not even the tip of the iceberg that I'm indicating towards here. If this does not invoke the powers vested in the Rule 267, then what does? Let the BJP spokesperson here tell us that if Rule 267 is not imminent now, what on earth will wake their conscience up, will provoke this government to use the floor of the parliament for the purpose that it is meant for. The floor of the parliament is for the opposition to question the government on the failures where they have failed. Otherwise, the government has its own offices. But the parliament belongs to the opposition of this country, who are equal representatives of the people of this country. When a BJP MLA himself was attacked, is lying on the hospital, has barely been able to speak. Just recently, his driver was killed. Another BJP MLA, Pauline Lal Haukip, has admitted to the complacency of the government. Then what else will make the Rule 267 imminent now? They want 176 so that they can muzzle our mouths. We want 267 so that we can go for a vote at the end of it, if required so.
Okay, Neha Joshi, respond to that. The opposition is saying that Manipur is suffering and logjam after logjam is, what we're witnessing in the parliament every day. Today is the third day. Important bills are still lined up. That business needs to be carried out, that legislative business. What's the problem if the government does a discussion under Rule 267 as the opposition parties demanded?
Thank you, Shreya. Very good evening to everyone. Now, first of all, my learned colleague from the Congress party, since she's so fond of reading, I would encourage her to also read the comment by Mr. Noro Mohan from the Manipur Patriotic Party, who blamed the Congress party for the condition that Manipur is in right now. Having said that, I would say that in the past decade, the insurgency has gone down significantly. But Mr. Mohan went on record and wrote an open letter to Rahul Gandhi saying, the continuation by the Indian National Congress of the British policy of containment of the Meiteis is what has led to this current strike today. Now, coming to your question, Shreya, what we've seen in the past 1 week, the horrific incident of violence against these two women that we saw, it shook the nation as it rightfully should. Now, the Home Minister, who is the minister in charge for internal security, stood on the floor of the House today and said, let's have a discussion, let's have a debate. But we saw the ruckus in Parliament, which is clearly indicative of the fact that the opposition, I.N.D.I.A, does not want a debate. Bharat wants a discussion. Bharat wants a debate. They want to know what's happening in Manipur. The minister in charge is standing on the floor of the House and saying, let's debate. But I.N.D.I.A, this motley group that has come together, only wants to disrupt and detract, because they know that when the issue of security is going to come up, when the issue of women's security is going to come up, questions will be raised on them, and that is what they're scared of.
I asked the BJP spokesperson
Mahima
clearly,
Singh
Shreya,
wants to respond.
if rule
Mahima,
number
please go ahead.
267 is not imminent, allow me brief indulgence here. Allow me brief indulgence. Will she refuse to the CM's statement where he said hundreds of such incidents, the ground reality is that hundreds of such incidences have taken place, and that is why we have shut down the internet? Will she deny the governor's, Her Excellency, the governor of Manipur, Srimati Anusuya Uike's statement? She said, I have apprised the higher authorities, I have apprised the center of the state of affairs here, and that she has not seen such violence across her entire career, in her entire life. Will she tell us what will invoke the powers in, vested in
while we're on that matter,
267?
we will take up West Bengal, where your alliance partner is massacring women, violating them just because they want to be part of the democratic process. In your alliance partner state of West Bengal that you hobnob with, women are stripped and paraded naked just because they're exercising their democratic right to contest an election. I will not deny anything. I will just add that in Congress ruled Rajasthan, 18 to 19 rapes are taking place every single day. I will not deny anything. I will in fact ask you to participate in this debate and raise all of these issues.
I understand your point.
Shreya, would you please ask the learned spokesperson of the BJP?
Neha, fair enough that women are not safe in other states as well. But what's happening is Manipur is where the government is. Mahima, I'll come back to you. Mahima, I'll come back to you. Neha, you're saying that. Yes, okay, all right. Neha, the fact that we are all concerned about women's safety, and we know that women aren't safe in other states as well, but the fact remains that over the Manipur issue, the government is answerable, the state as well as the center.
Absolutely, Shreya, and that is why the Home Minister is saying, let's have a discussion on Manipur. He did not say, let's have a discussion on Rajasthan or West Bengal. He said, I'm standing here as the Home Minister of the country. Let's have a discussion on Manipur. But the fact is that the opposition parties, I.N.D.I.A, know that when the discussion is going to be about women's safety, Rajasthan is going to come up. West Bengal is going to come up. Chhattisgarh is going to come up. And that is the reason why they've reduced Parliament to a protest site. Madam, you have Jantar Mantar for protest. Parliamentarians have been elected to Parliament. They have been sent to Parliament. And every minute, Shreya just gave you numbers of how much it costs to run Parliament. Why would you allow Parliament to function? Why would you not have a reasonable debate? Why are you so scared? Why are you parliamentarians so scared?
See, a question for a question, Sneha, that is what the BJP spokesperson is doing. I am asking, what will make the Rule 267 imminent? She is not answering that. And if she is boasting the fact that
Madam,
she has spoken,
in a democracy,
what took the Home Minister? Hold on.
I heard you.
What took the Home Minister 3 months?
You said
what took the Home Minister 3 months? Why did the Home Minister wait? Till a video goes viral, why did the Home
Neha, I'll
Minister
come back to
wait
you.
till a video
Yeah.
goes viral?
Neha
That
and
is when
Mahima, I'll
the
come back to
discussion
you.
An-Nirbhaya happened in 2016, and Dr. Manmohan Singh came out and spoke, and he
Okay.
spoke to the
All
daughters
right.
of this country and to the population
Neha
of this
and
country.
Mahima, I'll come back to you, ladies. I understand that you want to make your points, but I also have to get in my other panelists. I'm going to go across to Parvinder Singh Sethi ji. राइट परविंदर सिंह जी, जो आज पार्लियामेंट में हमने देखा लॉक जैम, डे 3 है, लॉक जैम चल रहा है। आपके एक एमपी संजय सिंह भी सस्पेंड हुए हैं और एज वी स्पीक दे आर आउटसाइड द पार्लियामेंट डूइंग अ धरना। इसका यहाँ पे इंपॉर्टेंट बिल्स जो लाइंड अप है उसमें जो सिटीजन्स इफेक्ट हो रहे हैं, कंट्री इफेक्ट हो रही है, मणिपुर जैसा एक इशू भी एक मुद्दा है जो डिस्कशन में आना चाहिए, वो नहीं हो पा रहा है। उसके बजाय सब कुछ हो रहा है दोनों हाउस में।
नहीं, पहले बात तो मैं क्लियर कर दूं, मैं आम आदमी पार्टी से नहीं हूं, लेकिन मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूं, जो हो रहा है वो बड़ा ही दुखद है, बहुत पेनफुल है और बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। एक संजय सिंह जी को सस्पेंड किया जाता है, लेकिन पूरी अपोजिशन की ये मांग थी कि मणिपुर के ऊपर डिस्कशन हो और प्रधानमंत्री जी इसके ऊपर डिस्कशन करें। लेकिन जब इसका एक बहुत बड़ा पूरे देश के अंदर एक इशू बन जाता है तो होम मिनिस्टर उसको कवर करने का प्रयास करते हैं। उसके बाद जब संजय सिंह ने क्या क्राइम करा है? संजय सिंह, पार्लियामेंट किस लिए होती है मुझे बताइए? पार्लियामेंट वो जगह है जहां पे इश्यूज को, जो पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट के, जो करंट अफेयर्स के इश्यूज हैं, उनको डिस्कस किया जाता है। जब उनको डिस्कस नहीं किया जाएगा, अपोजिशन डेमोक्रेसी को खत्म कर दिया जाएगा, अपोजिशन को, विपक्ष को बिल्कुल भी मान्यता नहीं दी जाएगी, डिक्टेटरशिप की राजनीति करी जाएगी। मणिपुर जल रहा है, इसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी किसकी है? इसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी स्टेट की भी है, सेंटर की भी है, और सेंटर की ज्यादा है। मैं कहता हूं पूरे देश के अंदर महिलाओं के साथ क्या हो रहा है? एक महिला को 35 टुकड़े कर दिए जाते हैं, एक महिला के 16 चक्कू मार दी जाते हैं, एक महिला को 16 किलोमीटर घसीटा जाता है, और महिला खिलाड़ी जो पूरे विश्व में देश का नाम ऊंचा करते हैं, और एक बीजेपी के जो सांसद हैं उनकी एफआईआर दर्ज करने के लिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाना पड़ता है। ये इतनी दुखद घटनाएं हैं। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के ऊपर से लोगों का विश्वास खत्म हो रहा है, और देश की सरकार जो देश को चला रही है ये उनकी जिम्मेवारी है, और उनको इस बात की चिंता करनी चाहिए कि देश के अंदर महिलाओं का इतना शोषण पूरे इतिहास में कभी नहीं हुआ। चाहे अंग्रेजों का समय था, चाहे मुगल टाइम्स थे, आज महिलाओं का अपमान हो रहा है और महिलाओं के साथ उनका शोषण हो रहा है, और उसके ऊपर आप डिस्कशन करने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। अभी पार्लियामेंट बनाते हैं तो आप उसमें विपक्ष के बिना उसका उद्घाटन कर देते हैं। प्रेसिडेंट को, जो दलित महिला है, प्रेसिडेंट है, आदिवासी, उनको बुलाया नहीं जाता। आप महिलाओं का शोषण करते हैं। पार्लियामेंट डिस्कशन का स्थान है जहां पे जो इश्यूज हैं, एक स्टेट जल रहा है, उसके ऊपर आप डिस्कशन करने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। इस बात को पूरा देश देख रहा है, और देश की सरकार को इस बात की चिंता करनी चाहिए कि उन्हें हर विषय पे अपोजिशन को साथ लेकर चलना पड़ेगा अगर देश को चलाना है, देश में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करना है। आप इस बात को समझिए। अगर आप आरोप प्रत्यारोप की राजनीति करते रहेंगे, हर चीज में राजनीति जरूरी नहीं है।
ठीक है, अनुराग नायडू, how do you see this situation? Parvinder ji says that issues are being politicized, matter of public importance is being publicized, and this is leading nowhere in both the houses.
I think it's a very, Shreya, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I would take this opportunity again to condemn this attack. Our heads totally hang in shame. We are totally ashamed of what's happening in Manipur. But the panelists who spoke before me and all the panelists, they've delivered generic speeches, and it doesn't serve a purpose. A channel like Mirror Now, it has always been a brand image for taking up the social issues. Today, I would like to take a very centrist stand. I'm telling you very honestly, both the panelists from the BJP and the Congress, have done their own self-goals. It is not the way we should be speaking. Even the BJP panelists saying that there are 12 to 15, whatever number of rapes happen in Rajasthan every day. It's absolutely unsubstantiated claim. We should not speak anything like that without having any evidence. But at the same time, we have also seen the Congress spokesperson speaking that it is a state-sponsored genocide. It is an ethnic cleansing. How dare we use this kind of words when you have mob on the street? We want to incite the mob. We want to flare up the passion. If our intention is not to flare up the passion, we will never use these words. And if we have used the sentences, then our intentions are not clean. We don't want peace in Manipur. So we need to understand our heads totally hang in shame. And what are we talking about? 176 versus 267. The Home Minister is the minister in charge, and not just minister in charge. Let's also understand that he was one of the first ministers who landed on the land of Manipur when the whole UNDRA started. If you go back into the days, and he is the one who hit the ground. He stayed there. He spoke to people who understand. He has a bird's eye view of the situation. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but if you don't let him speak, if you don't want to buy in his argument on what kind of a version that he wants to put, you will never understand what kind of a viewpoint that the government is having, because he represents the government. It is a legitimate stand by all the opposition that the CM should resign and must resign. But why not? We must hear out to the Home Minister when he stood up in the Parliament to clarify why and what kind of a step the center is taking. And there is, everything cannot happen just when the opposition wants, okay, हमें Prime Minister का भाषण देखेंगे तो हमें मजा आएगा, हमने Prime Minister को आके भाषण दिलवा दिया तो हम जीत गए. We are not debating whether you have got fun, you have won, or your egos have satisfied. We have to raise above our egos. 176, even if it is for 2.5 hours, it is the start. So if you're not satisfied, go to 267. Don't leave the battle. Why you want to have things run on your own terms on the day one, and then you say you don't want to be cooperative with the parliament? So it is absolutely double standard, absolute hypocrisy from the opposition.
Okay, Mahima Singh, two things. One, something is better than nothing, even if it is under Rule 176 and the duration of the discussion is going to be within 2.5 hours. At least it's going to be a start. Something is better than nothing. The second point, of course, being that when the Home Minister is making a statement, he is saying that we are going to discuss. Why this insistence on the Prime Minister speaking on it, on the Prime Minister's statement?
I'll tell you why. First of all, the learned co-panelist just questioned, how dare I? I will tell him, how and why did I dare, sir? I dared because 4,500 arms have been stolen from under the nose of the security forces. I dared to say that because there is no Chief Justice in the state of Manipur since February the 6th, in spite of repeated recommendations from the SC Collegium, from the Supreme Court Collegium, the last such recommendation being given on the July 5th, completely, blatantly ignored by the state of Manipur. There is no internet in that state for 3 months. The Home Minister took more than a month, several weeks to visit a state that was burning where there was no internet. The police itself handed over the rape victims to the mob. And you ask me, how dare I? If you have mothers and sisters in your home, you will not ask me that question, because there is no other precedent, there is no other state in the recent times in our beloved country where the state of affairs has gone so grossly wrong, where the state government has completely abandoned its own people, where the central government that once blamed the Congress and the other parties that ruled the state in the previous times, that played blame gaming or gaslighting with those parties or those governments, there is no answerability to be fixed. There's no accountability to be fixed today, which is why every mother, every daughter, every citizen of this country will ask. And now, Shreya, you asked me that something is better than nothing. Why? I mean, we are a democracy. The parliament, the chosen representatives, the elected representatives, and the elected leader of the house, the legend of a prime minister that we have who can intervene in Russian and Ukrainian war and can stop that the BJP rejoices in boasting. Why should we not expect answerability on the floor of the parliament by our prime minister? Why should we not? I will reiterate the question that I started with. What will make Rule 267 imminent? Why should we not answer this? You are telling us, the ruling party is telling us that we are with folded hands requesting you to have a discussion under 176. We are asking, why should we not urge the powers powers vested in 267? Why should we settle down on 176? The same was the case when we questioned about the Adani scam in March, April, when we said 20,000 crores of the taxpayers' money has gone to shell companies and the government is answerable because it colluded with its crony capital friends and there was no accountability fixed. And they succeeded in wrongfully disqualifying a chosen representative, that is Mr. Rahul Gandhi. That is what they are doing today as well. If the BJP spokesperson has any sense of conscience, she might as well answer here, why should we not invoke powers vested in Rule 267 on this very show? Please answer, ma'am.
Okay. Neha Joshi, please respond. Also, the fact that since a logjam after logjam, ruckus after ruckus, disruption after disruption is all that we are witnessing. And, important bills have been lined up. For example, today, the DNA technology bill had to be withdrawn just because the House was adjourned for the day. All of these important bills are lined up. Isn't it, the government's onus to move forward and clear this logjam in the parliament?
Yes, Shreya. And first of all, I detest the Congress people's this obsession of reducing women to behan and beti. I'm sorry, madam. Women are much more than that. So, you're saying this again and again. Kisi ki behan hai, kisi ki beti. I'm sorry. Stop doing that. Not expected of a woman, at least. Now, coming to the matter. Shreya, the Home Minister saying, let's have a discussion. N. Biren Singh has never shrugged responsibility. He's been at the front line. He's acknowledged what has happened. What we're seeing in Manipur is unprecedented. We've seen strife that we haven't seen in the past decade in Manipur. The insurgency had come down. There are legacy issues in Manipur that were being ironed out, but for some reason, after the High Court verdict, this is a tribal versus tribal conflict. Even within political parties, there's a sharp divide on community lines. These nuances, the Congress spokesperson is never going to understand. And hence, she is never going to understand how important it is to have this discussion. What they fear, Shreya, and I am going to repeatedly say this, that, when they talk about Behan and Beti, they talk about Behan and Beti of Manipur, which is a strife-torn state right now. What we are seeing there is horrible. But what they refuse to speak about is what is happening right under their nose in West Bengal and Rajasthan. They are not strife-torn states, madam. But your heart doesn't bleed for the Behan and Beti there. When she goes and exercises her right to contest an election or even
any of these states.
She's lynched.
So, Neha, is the internet shut down in any of these states? Are the governors of any of these states that they're not being such violence anywhere else?
And
we've had this discussion.
You're saying that we are reducing.
Neha and Mahima, we've had this discussion. Let me go back to the point of what's the way forward.
This hypocrisy
is not BJP reducing the women too.
Neha, what's the way forward? We know you talked about the conflict.
Is what the BJP has reduced women to. Objects of vengeance is what the BJP has reduced women to. And you are asking us about Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. Our internet services halted there. Our internet services shut down there. No.
The Rajasthan minister who was
All right, ladies. I have one final question to all of you. Neha.
You should probably tell that to your
minister. We've had this discussion. Neha and Mahima, we've had this discussion earlier in the debate about these states. Neha, I'm going to come to you. Last quick points from all of you. Neha, last quick point. What is the way forward? You talked about the conflict being persistent in these two tribal communities, Meitei and Kukis. This has been going on for decades now. What is the way forward?
Shreya, for the past decade, we've really seen an insurgency in Manipur going down. After the High Court verdict, this strife between two communities started. And, there's a larger conspiracy behind that. This is a tribal versus tribal conflict, unlike, what the Congress and other parties are trying to portray it as a conflict between tribal versus others. These are all tribals that we're talking about. So first of all, we need to stop talking about in a very generic manner that all our opposition leaders are used to doing. The Home Minister saying, let's have a date, let's have a civilized debate on the floor of the House, talk about this and arrive at solutions. If the opposition is interested in solution, the government is committed to bringing peace to Manipur. That is what we have been working on for the past 80 days since this strife started. I would urge the opposition to be reasonable. I would urge the opposition to think about the people of Manipur who are suffering while they waste precious time and money of the taxpayers in the ruckus that they have been creating in Parliament.
Okay, quickly, Mahima Singh, your last comments. What is the way forward in the kind of logjam that we are seeing in the Parliament every day now?
The way forward, Shreya, is exactly what the BJP, this desperate double disaster government of the BJP, is allergic to. They're allergic to the opposition. They want an opposition-free country. So the way forward, Shreya, is to take all the stakeholders of democracy, sit them down on a table, because they have ruled the state much better than the BJP in the past, or let alone much better or worse. Let's just say that there are parties that have ruled the sensitive state in the past and may have useful suggestions. But the BJP in the last 9 years has been seen to run away from the opposition. They are allergic to the opposition. The only way forward is talk to the stakeholders. The way forward is fix the accountability of the state government. First of all, make the CM step down. Regain the faith of the people, regain the trust in the at least the center, impose the president's rule at the least immediately. That is the way forward.
Okay, Parvinder Singh Sethi ji, way forward क्या है, solution क्या है?
देखिए सोल्यूशन ये है कि अगर आप कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन आती है, वो सबके लिए आप ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग बुलाइए, आप उन सब से डिस्कशन करिए कि ये हम सबकी कलेक्टिव जिम्मेवारी है कि हम इस अगर ऐसी इमरजेंसी लाइक सिचुएशन आती है किसी भी स्टेट के अंदर, हम हर किसी की एडवाइस ले सकते हैं और उसको सॉर्ट आउट कर सकते हैं। ये हम सबकी कलेक्टिव जिम्मेवारी है। इसके अंदर राजनीति नहीं होनी चाहिए, आरोप प्रत्यारोप नहीं होने चाहिए। मणिपुर जल रहा है, उन लोगों के बारे में सोचिए जिनकी जानें जा रही हैं, जिनका नुकसान हो रहा है, उसको जल्द से जल्द उसके ऊपर हमें कंट्रोल करना है। अगर एक दूसरे के ऊपर आरोप प्रत्यारोप करेंगे तो उसको कैसे होगा? आप ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग बुलाइए, अगर कोई आपको अच्छी सलाह देता है उससे आप छोटे नहीं हो जाएंगे, उससे आपका सम्मान बढ़ेगा। अगर आप पक्ष के अंदर हैं, आप सरकार के अंदर हैं, अगर विपक्ष को आप अगर सम्मान देते हैं और वो आपको कोई सलाह देता है, इससे आपका कद बढ़ेगा, आप छोटे नहीं होंगे। आप तो अपने पार्टी के लीडर से डिस्कस करने के लिए तैयार नहीं है, अपोजिशन को तो आप कुछ समझते ही नहीं है। जिस प्रकार मैडम ने कहा, आपको हर अपोजिशन वाले से आपको एलर्जी है। अगर संजय सिंह जी ने कहा डिस्कशन करी जाए, उनको सस्पेंड कर दिया गया। अगर आप विपक्ष को बिल्कुल खत्म कर देना चाहते हैं, आप चाहते हैं कि इस देश के अंदर विपक्ष रहे ना, तो आप देश को कैसे संभालेंगे? आपका टोटल फेलियर है, आपका लॉ एंड ऑर्डर फेलियर है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव फेलियर है। लेकिन हम ये चाहते हैं कि देश के अंदर अमान रहे और लोगों के जान माल का नुकसान ना हो। इसके लिए हर तरह से सारी पार्टियां कलेक्टिवली आपके साथ खड़े होने के लिए तैयार है, आपके साथ उस सिचुएशन को हैंडल करने के लिए तैयार है। आप एक बार बुला के तो देखिए सबको। That is your duty to call all party meeting.
ठीक है. Okay, before I go to Anurag Naidu for his last comments, let me also tell our viewers quickly that the visuals that we are showing you right now, we were showing you were the visuals from outside the parliament where the opposition parties are sitting on a dharna tonight. Those visuals on your screen are from outside the parliament right now as we speak. Opposition parties have resorted, in fact, they are sitting on a dharna tonight. Through the night, they'll be sitting outside to not just demand for a discussion in the parliament over the Manipur issue by the government, but they're also protesting the suspension of Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh today. We'll keep getting you the latest on that, but also quick last comments from Anurag Naidu now. Anurag, what are your thoughts? What is the way forward? How do you look at this?
I think, look, we have to rise above our egos and, let there be a discussion on 176 first. And then if things are not happy, move 267, and then Home Minister should also put his ego aside. Everyone should collectively come, and I think they should be replacing the Chief Minister, and there should be a women Chief Minister in place of the current Chief Minister to send a larger signal that we respect women and we will stand with women. So before we move in after this 267, I think the army also should be sent in. The law and order situation should be in control, and then we should make some legislative changes which are required in Manipur, send in a new government led by a woman essentially to send a larger signal, and then I think things can come into, because it's not going to happen overnight. But I think these baby steps, putting our egos aside, stop finger pointing at each other, both opposition and the government, and that's the only way we can rise above this, because we are heading in election season, and I think it's very difficult for both of them to stay away from this topic, because they feel there's a lot of meat in this topic. But I think that's when we have to raise our standards, and that's when we need to act collectively. And a women chief minister in Manipur is a big solution and answer to the situation, because to the international fraternity and the international community, we would be sending a strong signal.
Yeah. Well, whether or not that happens, we'll have to see in the next few days and weeks. But I'm going to thank my panelists for now. I'm going to wrap this discussion up. Neha Joshi, Anurag Naidu, Mahima Singh and Parvinder Singh Sethi, thank you very much for joining us on Mirror Now tonight and sharing your perspective on the Parliament logjam that's happening. Let's